Welcome to Comfort Africa number 2. The video I shot before this, I was trying to teach my nieces and my nephews some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that I suck at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. However, that does not make me any less of a fighter. The techniques that I taught to them was taught to me when I was their age. Not the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu part, but the chokeholds and stuff like that. Now, teaching children is not impossible, but as you saw in the video, it is bloody freaking difficult. I also had to try to do this without cussing, and it's very hard for me not to cuss. I cuss a lot. Now, the thing is that some of them got it, some of them don't. I did not teach the girls using my body the same thing I taught my nephew on the ground rules because of the fact that I am not a girl, and I don't want this to look like a sexual molestation type damn video. Now, the thing is, trying to teach them and trying to keep them focused is also a problem. Now, if you're going to teach anybody, the first thing you need to do is know what you're teaching. Now, a lot of you are going to come at me and say that I was wrong, and that's fine, because I suck at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I learned what I learned from the Army. However, I will say this, even if you're going to come at me, two things for sure. I didn't lie to these kids, period. You saw me show them what will happen when you can't get out from somebody, and that you need to always be thinking constantly while you are fighting. So if you have something to say about that, well, eat a bag of D-bags. But the problem is really simple. A lot of people rely a lot on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, here are your statistics for all you people who believe that fights generally go to the ground. That's horseshit. Fights do not always go to the ground. If your stand-up game is good, no one's going to take you to the ground. Unless you want them or allow them or they catch you sleeping, then you're going to the ground. But 9 times out of 10, even if you go to the ground, you need to be able to get from under any kind of move, which is what I was attempting to show them. But lack of focus doesn't help when no one's focused on what you're trying to teach them. Where they just think this is a game, I'm trying to be deadly serious and teach them right from wrong. Now, whether you approve or disapprove of my training and my methods, that's not my concern. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all. I suck at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I do not suck at fighting. And the thing about fighting is you need to be well-rounded in every kind of martial art that you can find. Whether you are good at it or not doesn't matter, because you don't know what kind of fight you're going to fight when you get into a fight. And every time someone says, well, I can do this or I can do that, they probably can. But there's just one factor that people are not teaching you while they're teaching you martial arts. The enemy and the opponent factor. You don't know what your opponent knows until the first punch or kick is thrown. If you are not well scouted, let's say you're a professional. So if you're a professional, you study your opponent. You study all of their tapes. You study all that you can know about them inside and out of the ring. And the reason why you do that is you want to be able to use that to defeat your enemy. Now, here's a fun fact. 20% of that works. And I know you're thinking, why does 20% of that work? Because you're watching them fight someone else. You're not watching them fight you. Alright? They're doing the same. They're watching you fight someone else. They're learning all your moves, your quirks, and your tricks. The problem is, every fight's a different fight. Every fight's a different fight. Every fight's a new fight. And every time you get into that ring, that last fight doesn't mean anything. That last fight, whether you won or you lost or it was a draw, it doesn't mean anything. The current fight means what's going to happen in that fight. If you're thinking about the last fight, you're probably going to think yourself into a defeat. If you're worried about the next fight, before you get through this fight, you're probably going to worry yourself into a defeat. Your mind must be clear when you enter that ring. Now, I am not a professional freaking ring fighter. I was never given the chance by the UFC of anyone else because up until I turned 37, I only weighed 120 pounds. When I got into the military, they finally started having the 120-pound division, and by then I was 135. And I was government property. There was no way of getting out of the military. And now that I'm out of the military, and I'm 47 years old, and I had a hip replacement, and I need another hip replacement, no one's going to give me a shot. Probably won't even let me be a coach. But that was the whole point of making this video, is so that I can teach people that they can still get out of a fucking situation while doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu really, legally, I don't care what anybody says, this is where I piss all you BJJ guys off, really only works if you can get them on the ground. If you can't get them on the ground and keep them on the ground, then it's not doing you any good. Now, there's gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and there's non-gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We didn't have gis. We had our uniforms. So we trained in our blouses and our t-shirts. So whatever they told us we had to wear, that's what we wore. We never trained in PT clothes. We only trained in uniform. So pretty much like a gi, you grab by the lapel or whatever, which I was trying to demonstrate, but I don't have a gi, and my nephew doesn't have that much experience. He's only like 11 or 12. Big boy, huh? But anyway, everybody's bigger than me. But if I can teach them how to defend themselves in a manner of respect so that they don't get hurt while fighting or while training, then they're going to be in great shape. I'm trying to get my 14-year-old nephew, excuse me, he ain't even 14 no more. He just had a birthday back in January. I'm trying to get my 15-year-old nephew to come down here, but he's at work. If I can get him to roll with me, you'll understand, because he's way bigger than me. And that's a difficult spot to teach him. If I can teach him how to use his body, then I can actually show how to physically escape stuff. And I have done that before. I don't know if I posted it because we did it outside. But down here on the mat, it's cooler in the house, and I don't want to like dirty up my own clothes outside. But you know, the thing about fighting is really simple. Not all good fighters are good at every fight. All right? And when you lose focus on your fight, you're going to lose the fight. Thanks for watching.